Views and opinions of News Talk 1450 WOL, Radio 1 Incorporated, or their management.
This is Montgomery Mosaic on 1450 WOL, WPRS, HD2, and worldwide on WOLDCnews.com. Montgomery Mosaic features topics of interest to Montgomery County residents, businesses, and visitors. Here now is your host, Deborah Milo.
Good morning, Montgomery County. Welcome to another edition of Montgomery Mosaic. This is your host, Deborah Milo. I hope you're having a great day. You know, I'm really excited about today's show because we're going to talk about one of my favorite places, the public libraries. You know, like many of you, much of my childhood was spent at our local public library where I met a lot of great friends like Charles Dickens, the Bronte sisters, Phyllis Wheatley, and others. You know, I was introduced to inspiring characters like Madeline, Pippi Longstocking, and those Boxcar Children. All great reads to stir the imagination. Well, today I have the great pleasure of talking with one of my favorite people as well, Parker Hamilton. She's the director of the Montgomery County Public Libraries. Parker, welcome to Montgomery Mosaic. I'm so glad to see you.
Hi, Deb. It's good to be here.
Thanks so much for taking time to visit with me today. If you would, share a little bit about yourself with our listeners, such as what inspired you to a career in library services.
Well, I'm 67 years old.
67 years young. Okay,
old. I'm from a little town in Charleston, South Carolina called Red Top, out in the country. And so all of these experiences that you had as a child, I did not, because I was not able or allowed to go into a public library.
Oh, wow.
I was introduced to libraries as a high school student. And I really became interested in the power and the mission of public libraries when I went to the University of Illinois as an undergrad student, and I was on work study and worked in the Commerce Library in order to help supplement the food stamps that we were on in order to survive, and was introduced to a lady named Esther Clausen. And she saw potential in me. She saw a person who was interested in learning and knowledge. And what I saw was resources and materials that if I had been exposed to at a younger age, I thought that I can just conquer the world.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's this power and this knowledge. And 1972, I committed myself to find ways to connect people to those resources of a library. And that's what I've been doing since 1980 in Montgomery County.
I love that because I can remember, like we were talking about earlier, I can remember when growing up in the 60s, I can remember when we would go to the library and we were actually, you could get a book. You could get a book and you could read the book at the library. But you could not take, as a black child, you could not take that book out of the library. So I would have to wait until I went to school, especially during the summer. You know, I went to the library during the summer hours, and summer hours were limited. But I couldn't take the library book from that public library, but I could take a book from the school library. So I spent a lot of time there as well. So we are so fortunate to be able to have the resources of the library now. And young people, I hope you're listening because it's so important that you understand the beauty of the library. You know, I'm still at that place in life where a good book and a cup of tea in the evenings is how I like to spend my evenings and my weekends.
Yeah, and it's really a great place to be in Montgomery County. We have 22 physical buildings that residents can go to. We have this amazing website. You can connect to us through social media, through mobile apps. So there's really no reason why anyone living in Montgomery County or working in Montgomery County should not have connection with the wonderful services that we offer.
And I'm telling you, as a county resident, they are absolutely wonderful. Let's talk a little about the county's library system. How many branches? What's your mission? Most importantly, how our neighborhood libraries have changed over the years in order to keep up with the technology?
Well, Montgomery County Public Libraries offer free and equal access to services and resources that connect the people of Montgomery County to ideas and information which sustain and enrich their lives. That's our mission.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the way we do this is through partnerships. We do it through the physical buildings. Our hours are mostly 9 to 9 in the majority of our libraries. We have branches that are open on Sundays. Some are not open on Sundays. So I think the way technology has impacted us is that it's just a different way to deliver service. A lot of folks have thought, okay, the Google, Wikipedia, libraries are going to go away. I mean, what the residents of Montgomery County has said to us is we want to read print books.
Yeah.
And so our print circulation is really, really high. E-book circulation is coming along, but it's not either or, it's and.
Right. And see, that's what's so important. You know, I tell young people all the time, understand the joy of going to the library and doing research. Understand the joy of going to the library and pulling a book off of a shelf and just having a chance to hold it in your hand. I mean, to me, that's important. That's very, very important, to say the least. So next month, I know you'll be hosting the Library of the Future Summit right here in Silver Spring. Talk a little about the summit and its purpose.
Well, I think it's important to say that Mr. Leggett, our county executive, will be hosting his second Library of the Future. Mr. Leggett is a huge supporter of libraries,
Yes.
and he knows the power of a public library. Libraries played a major role in his life as he was growing up and in his work as a student and also as being a professor and even a county executive. So he wants to hear from Montgomery County residents. And it's even more important now because as we have evolved into this majority-minority community, we do an excellent job of providing services to our core users. And that's the Montgomery County that was 5 years ago.
Wow.
The Montgomery County today is different. And we want to ensure that we can deliver that same high quality, excellent service to all of Montgomery County. Age, race, whether you're into technology or not into technology, we need to hear so we can understand as we plan our strategic plan that we are going to develop service. So when you walk into our buildings or either go to our website or however you connect us, you're going to see yourself. And you'll be able to say, this library offers relevant service for me and my family.
So now what are you planning on doing at the summit? What's going to happen?
So basically what's going to happen is we're going to have an opportunity for residents to come in and talk to Mr. Leggett. We have Susan Benton, who is the CEO of Urban Libraries Council, as the keynote speaker. And we will have facilitators. We have asked library directors from around the state of Maryland to come in and facilitate discussions for us.
Wow.
And so we will just be asking some questions in order to listen and learn so that Mr. Leggett will know when he provides funds for public library, he will know what the residents have identified as key and priority for them.
That's going to be an amazing summit, to say the least. County friends, thank you for tuning into Montgomery Mosaic on 1450 WOL. I'm your host, Deb Milo, and I'm chatting with Parker Hamilton. She's the director of the Montgomery County Public Libraries, and we were just talking about the Library of the Future Summit that's going to be here in Silver Spring. Now, Parker, I know that September is Library Card Sign-Up Month, and you have outreach teams working from different branches to sign up more users. Talk a little about that.
Well, basically, we have a high percentage of residents having library cards in Montgomery County, but it's not all of our residents. And we want to ensure that we reach out and encourage our residents to sign up for a card so that they can avail themselves of the services. We know that we have people in our county who are working 2 or 3 jobs, and may not have time to come into a physical building. So we want to go out to them. We want to meet our residents where they are, and that's where the outreach team members come in. So they go to festivals, they go to back-to-school nights, they go to the Judy Center. They will be going to the executive office building to talk to to employees, in order to help them know what they're missing out on if they do not have a library card. So our services are free. By virtue of having a library card, obviously you can check out books, but you can also check out computers. You can check out our really cool Go kits that we have for young children and their parents.
Now wait, what's that? What's the Go kit?
A Go kit is a actually it's a luggage bag, and in that luggage bag we have a mini iPad.
Oh, nice!
And we have books, and we have educational toys, and we have guidance. So when a parent or caregiver take that luggage home, it will be on a certain topic. It could be on robots. It could be on plants. And we have apps loaded onto the mini iPad that they can use in order to engage their child in learning. So we feel very much a part of education in Montgomery County, and we feel very much a part of the solution for the achievement gap. And this is one of the ways that we have developed programs and services that parents and caregivers can avail themselves of and use at home in order to help their kids enter school ready to learn, and also especially help during the summer months when kids are not in school.
Yes.
I mean, we are that classroom.
That's amazing. Wait a minute, I might need one of those kits, because I'm telling you, if you have those for adults, that would be great.
Well, actually, Deb, we have been asked that, and we are looking to see whether or not that is a possibility. Because, we're all about learning.
Absolutely.
We're so curious. And any way that we can just put it there in front of you, we were able to do it. We want to do it.
That's amazing to me. That's absolutely amazing. So we're talking about library services a little bit. What's the busiest library in the county? I've always been curious about that.
Well, it goes back and forth.
Okay.
I can tell you that Germantown's very busy.
Yes, it is, because I'm one of the patrons.
Gaithersburg is very busy, and Silver Spring is busy. And I think we have to define what busy is. Because that's busy based on foot traffic, and that's busy based on circulation of items. But I can tell you that Long Branch is a very, very busy library, but the circulation is very low, because the people in that community really use the building and really use the facility, and they may not take out as many items as someone in Germantown or either Gaithersburg. So all of our libraries are well used, and we work really hard to ensure that community folks can go into their local library and find materials that they're interested in.
So do you think it's important to increase library hours within our communities, and if so, why?
I think it is important to have hours that are accessible for our residents. I think that it's really important that a community can go to a library and find the hours that serve them the best. For example, we know that in some of our communities we have more senior citizens than we have in others. So kind of the questions we ask ourselves is, okay, so for this particular library, do we need morning hours or do we need evening hours? And then we look at the resources that we have and make that informed decision.
So you use your metrics in order to do that.
Absolutely.
And see, that's another thing where learning comes in, and why libraries are important, so you can learn about how metrics and analytics are done.
Yes.
This is Montgomery Mosaic on 1450 WOL with your host, Deborah Milo. I hope you're enjoying this edition of our show. We'll be back in just a few moments, so please stay tuned for more.
News updates on the web at WOLDCnews.com.
Good morning. WOL Traffic brought to you by Johns Hopkins University in D.C. In Northwest D.C., we have a utility crew on the scene in the center of Wisconsin Avenue at Jennifer Street Northwest. Traffic on Wisconsin gets by in a single file to the right in each direction. Had a pedestrian struck in Chevy Chase on Glendale Road at Cypress Place. And the water main break shuts down the intersection of Flower Avenue at Piney Branch Road. Johns Hopkins University, one of the highest-ranked universities in the world, offering over 30 part-time graduate programs in D.C., Maryland, and online. Advanced.jhu.edu. WOL weather brought to you by SecureTransit.org. Mostly sunny today, high 85. Clear tonight, overnight low 66. Tomorrow, sunny, high 85. It's our civic duty to help protect our country from terrorist attacks. If you see something, say something to the police or transit personnel available. Learn more at securetransit.org. Currently mostly sunny, 77 degrees. I'm Stan Thomas on News Talk 1450 AM WOL, where information is power.
County friends, we're back on Montgomery Mosaic with Deborah Milo, your host on 1450 WOL News Talk Radio. And today I have the privilege of talking to a friend of mine, Director Parker Hamilton. She's the director of the Montgomery County Public Libraries, and we're having a really fantastic discussion about how important libraries are and all the wonderful changes and things that are going on. Before we went to break, Parker, we were kind of talking about library hours, but I kind of want to shift gears and talk about the conference that you attended in June to accept the National Award from the Urban Library Council. Now, that's quite an honor. Talk a little about that.
Well, the Urban Libraries Council is one of the leading organization in the library profession. They, along with the American Library Association and Public Library Association, are the organizations that we look to and belong to. We are members of Urban Libraries Council, and the CEO, Susan Benton, as I said earlier, will be the keynote speaker at Mr. Leggett's summit. But they do a great job of recognizing innovation, and they have a program where every year libraries within an organization can submit their programs and services to be considered for an innovation award.
Okay.
And we submitted our outreach program this year. During the budget reduction, we eliminated our bookmobile and all mobile services. And Mr. Leggett charged me with coming up with a new approach to doing outreach in order to connect and engage our residents. So we came up with the concept of outreach workers going out in the community in order to meet and talk. And the voters of this particular group of submissions thought that our program was innovative. It was something that could be, replicated
Right.
and other systems, and they choose to recognize the program. I think that when you have budget reductions, your juices start to think, because you're still committed to giving outstanding library services. And so when our budget was cut, our juices, was really on high. And this is one of the programs that we came up with, and we're really pleased to have it recognized.
I think that's outstanding. I mean, the fact that you can actually have a program that was nationally recognized, and like you said, having the leadership of Mr. Leggett to be able to really encourage you to think outside the box and be innovative and creative, I think that that's a plus in a way. That's very much a plus.
Well, it really is. And, I tell my staff all the time that you do not need money in order to be innovative. It helps.
Right, it helps.
It helps. It helps a lot.
It does.
But we can be creative and innovative, and we should not let a lack of dollars keep us from thinking out of the box and delivering the best service we can for our residents.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we still have to deliver the quality services to our customers, because they're the ones that, that's why we're here. That's why we're here. I'd like to hear about the Library Cards for Every Student program. I know the County Public Libraries has teamed up with the schools to get library cards to all the students. How's that going?
Well, one of the things that we're really proud of, again, this is the leadership from the Urban Libraries Council. They lived in Chicago, Illinois for a while, and then they moved to Washington, D.C. about a year ago, and immediately made connections with the White House. So basically, this program is the White House Connect Ed Library Challenge, and President Obama and his folks are challenging library systems to work with their school system in order to ensure that every child within that school system has a library card. And so in order to sign up for the program, we, of course, needed my commitment. We needed a commitment from Mr. Leggett, and we commitment from the superintendent of public schools. And we have all three of those commitments. And so pretty soon, Mr. Leggett will be rolling this out to the residents of Montgomery County. We have a head start on it because we went to Gaithersburg Elementary School in June, and we signed up over 800 students for a library card. Amazing principal at that school who worked with us, and we went there and worked with her staff, and my staff did a great job. My outreach workers did a great job. And on this particular day, those 800 plus students, they all walked home with the library card in their book pack. And I tell you, Deb, they were so excited, so interested in using that card and connecting with the book.
Absolutely.
And so just to see that joy in their eyes. And so the principal committed to taking them to their local library, which is just going one step further. And so it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they do use the card, and we hope that they do. So we'll be following them, we'll be encouraging them. And because it's great to have the card, but it's even more important to use that card.
You better believe it. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Folks, if you've just tuned in, this is Montgomery Mosaic, and it's Deb Milo talking with Director Parker Hamilton of the Montgomery County Public Libraries about how important library cards are and how important libraries are for the future as well. I want to shift gears just a bit, Parker. Let's talk a little bit about the library board and the important role they play.
Okay, the library board is advisory. They are appointed by Mr. Leggett and approved by the council, and they advise me on all things libraries, customer service, collection, our buildings, whether they're clean or whether they're dirty. And more importantly, they advocate on behalf of the users of Montgomery County to the council and Mr. Leggett to ensure that they understand the role of public libraries, they understand how we have evolved, they understand how we connect with the community, and that we're more than books. So that is a major role that they play, and they do it really well along with the Library Advisory Committee. So the Library Board advises me, and then each one of our branches have a Library Advisory Committee that advises the local branch manager.
Oh, I see.
So that allows us to always have a pulse on the community. And so we are recruiting for library advisory committee members at the branches, because we want those committees to look like the community. And so
sense.
We are encouraging young people, we are encouraging entrepreneurs, we're encouraging students, we're encouraging everyone. If you have an interest in your local library, reach out to your agency manager, talk to someone in that branch and say, I want to become a voice for you. I want to tell you what is happening where I live. And so that we can better understand the needs and, to the best of our ability, respond to those needs.
So I hear you saying that you are encouraging community members, and you mentioned young people. That's very important for young people to be able to get engaged. Are you talking about high school students, college students?
All of the above.
Oh, all the above.
Yeah,
wow.
Yes. We actually have a group called the TAG. Is our teen advisory group.
Teen advisory group, right.
And it's from high school students across the county. And so we listen to them in terms of titles to buy, in terms of programs and services to subscribe to, and in terms of what type of programs to offer. And so because of that advice that we have received from them, we see more and more teens coming into our libraries.
And see, that's a good thing.
Yes.
That's a very good thing. This is Montgomery Mosaic on 1450 WOL talking with Director Parker Hamilton of the Montgomery County Public Libraries. We're having a really fantastic discussion, and I kind of want to round up a little bit here, Parker. This is going to be kind of like a technology-centric question, if you will. Talk a little bit about the state-of-the-art library in downtown Silver Spring, because it's very impressive. What can folks expect to see, and what's new at this library that may not have been available at the other location?
Well, we have lots of technology there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is working, some of it is not working the way we would like it to work. That's the where technology is.
That's the nature of technology.
That's where technology is. So one of the things that we have a 24/7 locker, so that customers do not have to come into the library to pick out materials. Mm-hmm. They can just use the locker. We have an automated book drop, and those are the two things that we're having some glitches with right now. That they're working maybe 90% of the time, but we're working with the vendors. They're on site today, and we're hoping to have those fixed fairly soon. The other thing we have in that library, we have what we call a tech bar, because a lot of folks come into the library and they have bought a new iPhone mm-hmm. or some new piece of technology, and they don't have a clue as to how to use it. And so our staff can help. And then we have customers who are interested in buying stuff, and our staff can help with that as well. We have a Mac lab where we have opportunity for our young students to come in to use the technology that we have there in order to help them succeed in school. One of the things that we know is that we learn differently, and so technology can help a student who find that way of learning better than, say, writing. And so we're happy that we can provide those opportunities.
Lots of wonderful opportunities. Well, Parker, thank you so much for spending some time with us today to talk about the libraries, because I'm telling you, what a wonderful resource to have here in the county. And county friends, as always, thank you for sharing a part of your day. Don't forget, please visit your local library and get as much resources as you can. Tune in again next month on the second and fourth Wednesday of each month for another Montgomery Mosaic on 1450 WOL, WPRS HD2, and worldwide on WOLDCnews.com. Till next time, be kind to one another, visit a library, and have a great day.
You've been listening to Montgomery Mosaic, featuring topics of interest to Montgomery County residents, businesses, and visitors. For more information or a copy of the show, email publicinformation@montgomerymd.gov or call 240-777-6507. Be sure to tune in at this time on the second and fourth Wednesday every month for Montgomery Mosaic on 1450 WOL. WPRS, HD2, and worldwide on WOLDCnews.com.
1450 WOL.